Welcome to this life-changing journey. If you've ever struggled to recall a name just seconds after hearing it, if you've poured hours into studying only to forget everything the moment you sit in the exam hall, or if you've walked into a room and suddenly wondered why you even went there, then pause for a moment, because this message isn't here by chance. It's not a coincidence that you're watching this right now. This video has found you for a reason. You're about to discover a method, a complete transformation of how your brain remembers, stores, and retrieves information. This isn't another 5 tricks to boost your memory video you'll forget tomorrow. This is a guide to understanding how your mind truly works, and how to awaken the limitless potential that's already inside you. And there's a bonus: you won't just improve your memory, you'll also sharpen your English. As you listen, you'll absorb real, powerful sentences, expand your vocabulary naturally, and train your mind to think, process, and express itself like a fluent communicator. So whether your goal is to pass an exam, recall what you read, speak English with confidence, or train your brain like a genius, stay with me till the end. Because if you apply what you're about to learn, you won't just remember information, you'll remember what truly matters. You'll finally feel what it means to trust your mind again. Let's begin. Step 1. Understand how memory works, the real reason you forget everything. Before we talk about remembering everything, we need to uncover why forgetting happens in the first place. Most people believe they have a bad memory. They say things like, "I'm just not smart," or "my brain doesn't retain anything." But the truth is far simpler. You don't have a weak memory, you just have an untrained one. The first mistake most of us make is that we were never taught how memory actually functions. No one ever explained the mechanics behind it. Let me show you. Think of your brain as a vast library, filled with endless shelves. Each time you learn something, a name, a date, a formula, a story, it's like placing a new book on one of those shelves. But if you don't label it properly, if you never return to it, if you allow it to get buried under piles of other unorganized books, it's as good as lost. That's exactly what happens in your mind. Information comes in constantly, but without structure, it slips away. Your brain simply doesn't move that information from short-term to long-term memory. That's the key difference: short-term versus long-term memory. Imagine short-term memory as a whiteboard. You can write something on it, but if you don't save it, it's wiped away in minutes. Long-term memory, on the other hand, is like an eternal notebook. It keeps your words, images, and experiences safe forever. The problem is that most people keep everything written on that mental whiteboard. They hear a name but never repeat it. They read a paragraph but never connect with its meaning. They cram for exams but never revisit the material. As a result, their brain never transfers the data to long-term storage, and it fades away like writing on sand washed by waves. Let's make this real. Imagine you're at a party. You meet someone new. He smiles and says, "Hi, I'm Jason." You greet him, talk for a few minutes, then move on. 5 minutes later, someone asks, "What was his name again?" And your mind goes completely blank. It's not because you're forgetful, it's because your brain never processed the name in the first place. You heard it, but you didn't record it. It wasn't repeated, linked, or visualized. So, it disappeared. Now, imagine the same moment differently. When Jason introduces himself, you instantly create a connection. You think, Jason, like Jason Statham, the actor. You notice a resemblance, smile, and repeat aloud, "Nice to meet you, Jason." Later, you use his name again naturally in conversation. "So Jason, what do you do? What happened this time?" Your brain focused, connected, and repeated. You built a path strong enough for the memory to stick. That's the science of memory. It's not a gift, it's a skill. Like any skill, memory begins with understanding. If you keep stuffing facts into your brain without knowing how it stores them, you'll always feel overwhelmed. But once you understand this process, you'll realize something powerful: your memory isn't broken, your system is. You don't need a better brain, you need a better method. And that's exactly what we're building, step by step, together. Pay full attention because you can't remember what you never noticed. This is the brutal truth most people ignore. You don't have a memory problem, you have an attention problem. You can't recall what your mind never truly saw. You can't memorize what you never really listened to. You can't remember what your brain never cared to focus on. Every single day, your mind is bombarded with millions of bits of information: sounds, lights, colors, voices, notifications, messages, ads, conversations. If your brain tried to store it all, you would be mentally exhausted. So it filters. It decides what stays and what goes. And what determines that choice? Your attention. What you focus on stays. What you ignore vanishes. Attention is the gateway to memory. It's the key that unlocks the storage vault in your brain. Let me show you how it works. Imagine you just got out of a taxi after a long day. You're tired, distracted, checking your phone, thinking about dinner. You pay the driver and walk away, only to realize minutes later you left your bag in the car. Panic strikes. You try to recall the car's number plate, the driver's face, but nothing comes. It's blank. Why? Because your mind was never truly paying attention. You saw the car but didn't look. You heard the driver's voice but didn't listen. You were there, but your mind wasn't. Your brain didn't record the data because you never told it to. Now imagine the same situation differently. Before stepping out, you pause for just 1 second. You look at the license plate. You notice the driver's face. You say to yourself, "White Toyota, plate number 8473. That 1 second of awareness changes everything. Later, if you needed to recall it, you'd have no trouble. Why? Because you didn't just see, you noticed. The same thing happens every day when you're learning. You sit in a classroom, or you watch a video like this, and someone says something important. But your mind is somewhere else, thinking about your phone, your to-do list, or a memory from yesterday. You hear the words, but they never reach your memory. You read a paragraph, but your mind is half distracted by a song. You listen to a podcast, but you're also scrolling social media. And then, when you try to recall the information later, it's gone. Not because your brain is weak, but because your attention was divided. If your mind isn't fully present, your memory won't be either. And here's the truth: it's not entirely your fault. You live in an age designed to steal your focus. Notifications flash. Ads scream. The world competes for your attention every second. But the secret is learning to take it back, to train your brain to give one thing your full awareness. Because where attention goes, memory grows. The world you live in today is designed, quite literally, to hijack your attention. Every sound, every ping, every flashing screen, and every scroll is a tiny hook pulling at your focus. Social media, endless notifications, multitasking, background noise, constant updates, all of it is an invisible training system teaching your brain to stay distracted. Your mind, once capable of deep focus, is now constantly shifting, chasing stimulation instead of concentration. But here's the simple, undeniable truth: you can't save a file you never opened. You can't remember something you never really saw, heard, or noticed. So stop blaming your memory for forgetting. The real culprit is your focus. Because memory doesn't begin with recall, it begins with attention. Attention is the doorway to the mind, and if you never open that door, nothing meaningful can enter. From this moment on, whenever you want to remember something, a name, a phrase, a fact, a moment, stop. Pause for just a few seconds. Look carefully. Listen with intent. Say it out loud. Repeat it in your mind. Give it your full attention for only 5 seconds, because those 5 seconds can decide whether you will remember for a lifetime or forget within minutes. That small window of focus is where your brain decides, is this important enough to keep? When you give something your full attention, you tell your brain, this matters, and your brain listens. That's how real memory is built, not by trying harder, but by seeing clearer. Now that you understand this, realize something profound: attention is the gatekeeper of memory. It is the doorway to all learning. And if you don't open it with intention, nothing gets inside. That's why this step, mastering your attention, isn't just another rule, it's the foundation of memory mastery itself. Once your attention is steady, you can move to the next level, turning words into pictures, because the human brain doesn't think in letters or text. It thinks in vivid, living images. Your brain is a theater, not a dictionary. When I say the word elephant, you don't see elephant floating in the air. You instantly imagine a massive gray creature, its trunk swinging, ears flapping, walking slowly under the sun. That's how your brain naturally stores information, as pictures, as moving scenes, as moments filled with color, sound, and feeling. So if you truly want to remember something, a word, a name, a number, an idea, you must translate it into a picture your brain can hold onto. Words are plain and lifeless, images are alive and emotional. Your mind craves energy, color, and connection. Let's say you meet a girl named Lily. If you just think, okay, Lily, her name is Lily, you'll probably forget it within minutes. But if you imagine her holding a bouquet of white lilies, or her hair woven with delicate flowers glowing in the sunlight, your brain goes, oh, that's beautiful, let's save it. The more unusual, exaggerated, or funny the image, the stronger the memory becomes. Want to remember the word volcano? Don't just picture a mountain, see a giant birthday cake exploding with streams of hot chocolate lava. Smell the sweetness burning in the air, hear the sound boom. Feel the vibration. It might sound silly, but that's exactly why it works. Your brain doesn't remember logic, it remembers emotion. It remembers moments that move you. Memory is not just about storing facts, it's about creating impact. Try it with a simple list: milk, eggs, book, shoes, cat. Don't repeat it like a robot. Instead, build a wild, imaginative story. Picture a giant milk carton reading a book while sitting on a pair of dancing shoes. A cat wearing glasses is watching, while eggs fall from the sky like snowflakes. Now you're not just memorizing, you're seeing. You're feeling. You're turning data into imagination, and that's what makes it unforgettable. Your brain doesn't forget pictures, it forgets monotony. This is the same method used by memory champions who can memorize hundreds of words in minutes, by actors who can perform long scripts flawlessly, by students who remember thousands of vocabulary words, and by professionals who deliver speeches without a single note. You can do the same. From now on, don't just read, see. Don't just look at words, visualize them. Don't just memorize data, animate it. Turn ideas into scenes, facts into images, and words into faces. Because once you do, your mind will stop leaking information like a bucket full of holes and start working like a vault filled with vivid, unforgettable pictures. This one shift alone can make your memory 10 times stronger, especially if you're learning English, studying for exams, or trying to retain new skills. Now, step 4: use the story method, because your brain was never built for lists. It was built for stories. Since the beginning of time, humans have passed knowledge through stories, not charts or bullet points. Why? Because your brain loves drama, rhythm, emotion, and connection. It craves beginnings, middles, and ends. Facts bore it. Stories feed it. That's why we remember movies, not lectures. That's why we can quote lines from childhood fairy tales but forget yesterday's news. So if you want to remember anything, a list, a speech, new words, wrap them in a story. Imagine someone tells you, here's a list: apple, horse, jacket, candle, ice cream, cloud, socks, chair, tree, monkey. Try memorizing it. You might remember 3 or 4 words, maybe 6 if you push hard. But within minutes, it's gone because a list is disconnected, lifeless, floating without meaning. Now, let's wrap it in a story. A giant apple falls from the sky and hits a horse on the head. The horse panics, runs into a store, and grabs a jacket. He lights a candle to see in the dark but melts an ice cream cone instead. The ice cream bursts into a fluffy cloud that rains socks. One sock hits a chair, which magically grows into a tree. From the tree, a laughing monkey swings down and gives you a high five. Now close your eyes. Replay the story. You can recall every single word in order because now it's no longer a list, it's a movie. Stories create meaning. They connect emotions, visuals, and sequence. Your brain loves that. It loves things that move, connect, and surprise. Even if the story is nonsense, it works because it feels alive. So when you want to remember anything, your to-do list, foreign vocabulary, a speech, weave it into a story. The crazier, funnier, or more emotional, the better. Because your brain clings to what's unusual. It remembers what breaks the pattern. This is not just memory training, it's memory freedom. You are freeing your brain from dull repetition and teaching it through imagination. And that brings us to step 5, spaced repetition. The secret behind real, long-term memory. Here's the truth: one-time learning is fake learning. Reading something once doesn't mean you've mastered it. Cramming before an exam might help you pass the test, but you'll forget it the next week. Your brain needs space, time, and rhythm to store information forever. Imagine your memory like writing on sand. When you first learn something, it's like drawing with your finger on the beach. The image is clear, but the next wave washes it away. If you come back and redraw it, it becomes clearer. If you return again and again, carving it deeper each time, the mark begins to last. Eventually, it becomes part of the stone beneath the sand, permanent, unshakable. That's what spaced repetition does. You write something clearly. It looks perfect today. But tomorrow, the wind blows, waves crash, and slowly the writing fades. By next week, it's gone, erased like it never existed. This is what scientists call the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. Yes, it's a real, proven psychological phenomenon. It shows that if you don't review what you've learned, your brain starts deleting it rapidly, sometimes within hours. Your memory isn't broken, it's just built to forget what seems unimportant. So here's how to fight back, how to beat forgetting itself. Learn something once. Then review it after 1 hour. Review again after 1 day. Then after 2 days, 4 days, 1 week, and 2 weeks. Each time you review, your brain recognizes a pattern and says, wait, this again? It must be important. So it stores the memory deeper and deeper, layer by layer. After 5 to 6 spaced reviews, the memory becomes solid, almost permanent. It's like transforming handwriting in sand into words carved into stone. Take a simple example: you learn the English word serendipity, finding something good without looking for it. You love it. You tell your friend, maybe even feel smarter for knowing it. But you never use it again. A week later, it's gone. Why? Because you didn't revisit it. Now, let's try the spaced repetition way. Day 1, you learn serendipity. 1 hour later, you write, I found a beautiful book by serendipity. At night, you whisper it aloud again. Day 2, you use it in conversation. Day 4, you craft a short story around it. Day 7, you hear it in a podcast and smile in recognition. Day 14, you teach it to someone else. Now, that word belongs to you forever because you didn't just meet it once, you built a relationship with it. That's how memory works, through repetition, connection, and meaning. Many learners today use free tools like Anki, Quizlet, or Brainscape, which automatically test you using spaced intervals. But even without any app, you can do this with pen and paper. Draw a small box, write the date, and check back every few days. Remember, it's not about tools, it's about timing. So many learners feel defeated and say, I studied this already. Why can't I remember, or I spent 5 hours reading, where did it go? The answer is simple: no review equals no memory. Learning once is like watering a plant once. It might sprout, but without regular watering, it will wither. Spaced repetition is like nurturing that plant gently, again and again, until it grows deep roots and stands strong forever. If you practice this one technique, your memory will stop being fragile and temporary. It will become strong, reliable, and ready whenever you need it. Step 6. Use emotional connection, because feelings make memory last forever. Here's the truth: the stronger the emotion, the deeper the memory. Think about it. Do you remember what clothes you wore 7 days ago? Probably not. But you remember the day someone broke your heart, the time you felt humiliated in class, or the moment someone gave you a compliment that made you cry. Why? Because your brain doesn't just store facts, it stores feelings. If you want to remember something deeply, attach an emotion to it. You could read a sentence 10 times and forget it tomorrow. But if one sentence moves you, makes you laugh, cry, or feel powerful, you'll remember it for life. That's the power of emotion. When you feel, your brain's amygdala lights up, sending a message: this is important. Store this forever. So whenever you learn something, ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Can I connect it to my life? Can I care about it deeply? Suppose you're memorizing a history date, April 15, 1912, the day the Titanic sank. Most people memorize it like robots, so they forget. But if you imagine 1,500 souls lost, musicians playing as the ship went down, mothers holding their children, lovers whispering goodbye, strangers saving strangers, suddenly it's not just a date. It's a human story of love, loss, and courage. And now, you'll never forget April 15, 1912, because now, you feel it. Even when learning English vocabulary, don't just memorize, feel the word. Take abandon. Don't just think to leave. Remember the day someone left you, or when you gave up on something you loved. Now the word lives inside you. And here's a bonus trick: if a topic is dull, fake emotion. Learning a math formula? Area of a triangle equals 1/2 times base times height. Boring, right? Imagine it as a slice of pizza. You only get half. That small pain of losing your other half will make you remember the 1/2. Silly? Maybe. But your brain doesn't care about logic, it cares about emotion. Even fake emotion is better than none. When you start learning this way, every lesson feels alive, and what is alive never dies. Because teaching is remembering twice. One of the most powerful yet overlooked memory secrets in the world is this: if you want to remember something forever, teach it not tomorrow, not next week, but immediately. The moment you teach, you shift from being a receiver to a creator. You stop being a student and start becoming a master. Teaching forces your brain to do 3 things: recall clearly, organize thoughts, and express in your own words. When you do that, your brain reconstructs knowledge from within, and anything you rebuild, you never forget. Let's say you just learned the word procrastinate. You know it means delaying something important. If you walk away silently, your brain dismisses it, not important. And soon, it's gone. But if you turn to your friend and say, hey, do you know the word procrastinate? It means when we keep delaying things we should do, like studying, exercising, or cleaning. I always procrastinate doing the dishes. Now your brain lights up, connects, and remembers. Because the moment you teach, you own the knowledge. Boom. In that very moment, your brain just built a memory that will never fade. Why? Because you didn't just learn something, you used it, shared it, taught it. And teaching is one of the most powerful acts of remembering. But when I say teach, I don't mean standing in front of a classroom. You can teach in many simple, personal ways. Explain a new concept to a friend. Speak it out loud to yourself in the mirror. Write a short social media post about it. Record a quick voice note as if you're explaining it to someone else. Make a short video, even if nobody watches it. You don't need an audience, you just need to activate the teacher mode within you. Because when you teach, you transform from a passive receiver of knowledge into an active creator of understanding. When you do this, something amazing happens, your learning becomes deeper, stronger, and permanent. Research shows that students who study and then immediately teach perform up to 90% better on tests. Doctors who explain procedures to new interns remember them faster and more accurately. Even spiritual leaders say that when you teach, you heal twice, once for the listener and once for yourself. Teaching is not the end of learning, teaching is the proof of learning. It is one of the most powerful mental technologies humanity has ever discovered. And the best part? It's free. It's fast. It's available to you right now. If you practice this step daily, you'll not only remember more, you'll become a memory machine. And more than that, you'll start inspiring others to learn simply by being who you are. Because your brain remembers places better than facts. This is one of the oldest and most legendary memory techniques in human history, used by ancient Greek philosophers and modern-day memory champions alike. It's called the Mind Palace, and it's so powerful that people have used it to memorize the order of entire decks of cards, long speeches, and even hundreds of random facts within minutes. So, what exactly is a mind palace? Your brain is naturally wired to remember locations. You might forget phone numbers or names easily, but you still remember your childhood home, the color of the walls, the smell of the kitchen, the creak of the stairs, your favorite hiding spot. Why? Because your brain loves space. Places give memory structure, and structure makes memory strong. Now imagine this: what if you could store information inside those familiar spaces? You could literally walk through your own mind, collecting memories as if walking through a hallway lined with everything you've ever learned. That's your mind palace. Here's how to build one step by step. Choose a familiar place. Your home, your school, your favorite cafe, somewhere you can walk through easily in your imagination. Visualize the layout clearly. Picture yourself entering the main door, moving through the living room, kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, balcony. See every detail like a mental video game. Assign memory items to each space. Take what you want to memorize and attach one vivid image to each location. For example, let's say you want to remember the planets in order: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Living room: a pen is on fire, that's Mercury, hot and liquid like the metal. A pink perfume bottle sprays mist, that's Venus, goddess of beauty. A spinning globe splashes in the tub, that's Earth. Red dust covers your bed. Mars, the red planet. A huge balloon bounces wildly, Jupiter, the biggest planet. A shining ring around a stair pole, Saturn and its rings. An ice cube shivers on a chair, Uranus, cold and distant. Blue waves crash at your feet, Neptune, god of the sea. Now, close your eyes and mentally walk through your home. You'll never forget the order of the planets again. You're using places your brain already knows, filling them with vivid, emotional, and absurd imagery, and your brain loves that. That's why memory athletes can recall 500 random numbers in perfect order. They've stored them inside their palaces. Memorizing speeches, learning vocabulary, remembering facts or lists, studying for exams, even planning routines. Make your mental images strange, funny, emotional, or exaggerated. Revisit your palace often. The more familiar it becomes, the more powerful it gets. Use the same palace for multiple topics if needed. Your brain adapts. At first, it may feel awkward or slow. But with practice, your brain starts to love it. Eventually, your mind won't be a place where information fades. It'll become a sacred library, a temple of memory, where every thought has a home and nothing important is ever lost. Because night is when your brain decides what to keep and what to throw away. Here's a truth few schools ever teach: the last 10 minutes before you sleep can shape what you remember for the rest of your life. Science confirms it. During sleep, your brain doesn't rest. It organizes. It cleans. It decides which memories to store long-term and which to delete. It's like a librarian sorting all the books you opened that day. And what decides what gets stored? Three things: repetition, emotion, and timing. So, if you review something right before bed, your brain gets the message, this is important, keep it. Imagine this: you studied 10 English words in the afternoon. But at night, instead of revisiting them, you scroll through Instagram, watch funny reels, and check random memes. When you sleep, your brain keeps the reels, not the words. It assumes the last thing you saw mattered most. Now, imagine a new ritual. 5 quiet minutes before bed. No phone. No distractions. Just you, your notebook, and your thoughts. You softly review the key points or words you learned. You whisper them. You use them in a few sentences. You smile and feel proud. When you fall asleep, your brain says, yes, this matters. Save it forever. That's how you let your subconscious work for you instead of against you. It uses your natural sleep cycle, no extra time needed. It strengthens long-term memory storage. It improves focus, discipline, and even sleep quality. Most people never use this hidden weapon, but the ones who do develop memory that feels almost supernatural. Because writing is the brain's save button. You may forget what you read, see, or hear, but you rarely forget what you write. Writing activates your mind on a deeper level. It slows your thoughts, organizes your ideas, and builds a powerful physical connection between your hand and your memory. When you write, you're literally pressing save in your brain. When you just read or listen, your brain stays passive. It says, that's interesting, and moves on. But when you pick up a pen, everything changes. Your brain says, wait, this must be important. That's when real learning begins. For example, you learn the word resilience, the ability to recover after difficulties. Reading it is good, but writing it makes it real. You write resilience. The power to bounce back after hard times. After losing his job, his resilience helped him start again. I want to be more resilient in my life too. In 60 seconds, you've connected meaning, feeling, and action, and now the word is part of you. Typing is fast, but writing is real. When you write by hand, you move slower, see every letter, and feel every word. That tactile experience builds deeper neural pathways. Studies even show students who take handwritten notes remember more than those who only type or highlight. So, write daily, even one line. New words, quotes, lessons, or thoughts that moved you. Every page becomes a brick in the library of your mind. One notebook filled with intention is worth more than 10 hours of passive watching. Because testing yourself is the ultimate memory workout. Most learners keep rereading or rewatching lessons, thinking, I get it now. But understanding is not remembering. The real test is this: can you recall it when it's gone? Active recall is the most honest, effective, and science-backed technique for memory. Close the book, turn off the video, and ask your brain, can I bring it back? Don't peek. Don't cheat. Just try. That mental struggle is learning. It's your brain lifting weights. Let's say you just learned the quote, consistency is more important than intensity. Instead of reading it 10 times, cover it and ask yourself, what was that quote? What did it mean? Can I say it in my own words? You might struggle, that's good. That struggle strengthens the memory trace. Repeat it tomorrow, then next week, and you'll never forget it again. Every recall is like a gym rep for your mind. Reading is watching someone lift, recalling is you lifting. Use flashcards, quizzes, or simple journaling. After learning something, write what you remember without looking. After a video, pause and explain it out loud. Before sleep, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I learn today? What does it mean? How can I use it? The more you retrieve, the more you retain. Because a crowded brain remembers nothing. Your mind isn't meant to carry everything, only what matters. And right now, your brain is overloaded, full of noise, full of junk, full of information that doesn't belong in your life. You're not forgetting because you're lazy. You're forgetting because your mind is cluttered. If your brain is filled with 10,000 useless notifications, it has no space to store the one thing that could change your life. Let's fix that. Now, every day you wake up and the cycle begins. You scroll Instagram before your feet hit the floor. You watch 5 YouTube shorts before brushing your teeth. You check 3 different apps before breakfast. You absorb 100 opinions that aren't even yours. You watch, hear, click, scroll, scroll, scroll. And by 9 a.m., your brain is already exhausted. You haven't even started your day, but your memory is already on strike. This is the hidden enemy of memory. Too much input, not enough silence. Your brain is like a glass of water. If you keep pouring more and more without emptying it, it spills. It overflows. It breaks. And that's why you forget. Let's say you made a mental grocery list in the morning. Buy milk. Buy bread. Buy apples. Buy soap. Buy onions. You don't write it down because you're confident. I'll remember. It's just 5 things. But what happens after making the list? You check your phone, you scroll through 25 notifications, you watch 2 YouTube videos, you reply to WhatsApp messages, you scroll Instagram, you hear news, you see 10 memes, you even jump to a conversation about a Netflix show. By the time you reach the store, your mind goes blank. You remember milk and apples, but forget onions and soap, and you feel frustrated. Why did I forget something so simple? The answer is not that you're stupid. It's not that your brain is weak. It's that your brain was flooded with junk. The important list got buried under a mental mountain of meaningless content. Not because it wasn't important, but because you allowed too many unimportant things to take up space. The mind is a garden, not a dump. You must protect your memory like a garden. If weeds grow wild, they choke the flowers. So every day you must ask, what am I allowing into my mind? Is this helping me grow or is it cluttering my memory? Am I building myself or burying myself? If you want better memory, you need better boundaries. How to protect your brain? Powerful habits. Start your day in silence. Before touching your phone, give yourself 5 minutes of stillness. Breathe. Set an intention. Let your brain wake up clean. Limit useless information. Unfollow noise. Mute junk. Don't let your brain become a trash bin for other people's distractions. Use journaling to empty your head. Write down your thoughts every night. This helps your mind release stress and remember what matters. Practice digital fasting. Take 1 hour daily with no phone, just you, your notebook, your thoughts. Watch how your brain feels lighter. Choose what deserves your energy. Not every message needs a reply. Not every video needs your time. Not every thought needs a place in your memory. Protect your mind like you protect your home. You wouldn't let strangers sleep in your bedroom. Why let random content live rent-free in your brain? You cannot have clarity, power, focus, or purpose if your brain is drowning in distraction. This is not just a tip. This is a requirement for mental survival in today's world. Because memory is not just about learning. It's about making space for what matters. From today, be ruthless about what you allow into your mental world. You only get one brain. Don't waste it on noise. That was step 12. Protect your mind from overload. It is the final filter, the ultimate discipline, the silent superpower that will take your memory to a new level and your life to a new direction. Now you know the 12 proven steps to remember anything for life. Not just tricks, not just tips, but real powerful transformational strategies that will make you remember faster. Speak better English. Learn anything deeply, feel confident in your mind again, and finally take control of your focus, attention, and learning forever. But let me remind you of one thing. Knowing these steps is not enough. You must live them, practice them, use them. Because real memory isn't about genius. It's about daily decisions. Do you write what you learn? Do you teach what you remember? Do you protect your brain from overload? Do you review before sleep? Do you visualize? Do you build your mind palace? Do you repeat with feeling? Do you clear mental clutter? If the answer is yes, then welcome. You're not just someone who remembers well. You're becoming someone who remembers what matters. This video isn't just about memory. It's about awakening the real power inside your mind. And one last thing before you go, this video is not only a gift for your memory, it's also amazing for your English. Every sentence, every word, every step has helped you grow in focus, in clarity, in English understanding. So, if you loved this video, if you want more content that makes you smarter, stronger, and fluent, then don't forget to subscribe right now. Because on this channel, we don't just learn English. We become the best version of ourselves in English, in life, and in memory. Your mind is ready. Let's go make it unforgettable.